Y'all seeing that? Branding with color. That's going to be our topic for today. I have a link that I need you all to open up. So if you will go to that link that I just posted in the chat and open that up, that's the worksheet that we're going to use today, and you're going to fill out, having to do with branding using color on your website, your materials, your marketing pieces. And we're going to talk about why that's so important and how that works and how we can make it work for you. Okay? So without a lot of fanfare, let's jump right in. But hopefully you'll have that document open in front of you and you'll see, I'm going to fill out mine. This is what we're going to do. We're going to go through my piece and we're going to talk about that from a branding standpoint using my brand. So we're going to take some of the things that we've worked on in the past and we're going to incorporate that into today's webinar. All right, let's talk about branding. This color wheel, this is not anything new to us. You all have seen multiple color wheels that I've showed in the webinars on Friday, and how important that color wheel can be to picking colors, finding colors that work well together. We've talked about all kinds of things from this color wheel that I think can be helpful to you, and I'm not going to rehash all of that. I am, however, going to talk about what we're going to do in this webinar is we're going to go from these primary colors, and you have 3 primary colors, and then you have secondary colors, and that's a combination. That's a combination of any of these primary colors. And so then the next thing that we do is we move out from that, and these are the tertiary colors. And those are the colors that become a combination of the combinations. And that's where the shading comes from. That's where, and then we have tints and hues and all kinds of other stuff that comes into that. But this is where these combinations come from. And so we're going to look at these combinations today as we go through this, because even when you look at this color emotion guide, and hold on just a second, I want to get that. I want to give you where that color guide came from. Okay. I thought I had it right here. Apparently I don't. I'll find it here in just a second. But I want to give you a couple of documents having to do with the color today. This is the first one. This one, I don't have a visual for it, but it talks about emotions and color, and how important it is to pick colors based upon what kind of emotion do you want to evoke. All right. And so this is this is very, very popular. This takes a number of brands and it puts those brands and shows the brand color, the dominant brand color in each one of these. Can you see this going around the outside edge of this? Like Best Buy uses yellow in theirs, and UPS uses a bronze in theirs, and Nikon uses a gold color in there. So you have this combination of colors as you go, but it's something in this yellow strand. So over here, we're focusing attention right in this area right here on this color wheel. Okay, does that make sense to everybody? I apologize for the cough. Let me just try to do that in a blanket statement if I can. But that's what we're doing. We're going to take a look at these words here. And remember, when we were going through the branding piece, talking about your brand, and we were making that guide. And remember, you're supposed to take that guide. You're supposed to complete that. That has your purpose, your mission, your focus, all of those pieces on that one single sheet of paper, with 2 examples of your 2 avatars or your ideal customers, and you're supposed to print that off and have that available. Something that you look at every day. So I'm going to take something from that guide, I'm going to take something from that piece, and I'm going to bring it over, and we're going to use it here with Color Emotion Guide. All right, I'm going to take the problem that I solved. How many of you have figured out what problem that you solved? Let me know if you figured out what problem that you've solved. Should have a very simple problem. It shouldn't be complex. It should be very simple. It should be something that you can state simply. So I've taken the problem that I solve and I've put it down here at the bottom. The problem is that confusion and complexity of technology paralyzes a small business owner or entrepreneur. All right, so that's the problem. So now I'm going to take that problem and I'm going to look at these areas right here. What do I want to create? What emotion am I trying to evoke? What am I trying to do? When these are the two words right here, confusion and complexity, what am I looking for? So I have to look carefully at this. And Glenn is right. I find myself down in this area right here. Creative obviously is important, but that's not the problem. Is that they get stuck in the in what you do instead of what you solve. It's not so much about what you do as much as it is about what you solve. So I was looking for, and so this is where I find myself. You're exactly right. Trust and peaceful. These are the confused mind needs these two things right here. Those are the two things that I felt like I needed to include in my color, my dominant color in my brand, so that I could deal with this confused mind. Everybody understand that? Dennis is asking where's the worksheet for the problem from the problem that you solved. We did that weeks ago, Dennis. Can somebody grab that sheet if any of you have it handy and share it with him if you would, please. So I'm looking at this. Is there a way I can create a combination of these? Interestingly enough, I was picked to be the brand ambassador for an insurance company several years ago. I was supposed to go out into the marketplace and take their new branding, and they had spent a significant amount of time with focus groups and other people in trying to create this brand. And they'd hired a marketing team to figure out what brand is going to evoke the right emotion for what they were trying to accomplish. And so I'm sitting next to somebody, the marketing team comes in and they make this big presentation as to what all the process they went through to pick their color. And the guy that's sitting next to me, I turned to him after they explained what it is that they wanted to, what they wanted to create. They wanted to create confidence and they wanted to portray a healthy attitude. And I turned to the guy sitting next to me and I said, so it's going to be brown and green. And he said, what? I said, well, the color that they're about to reveal is going to be brown and green. And so they unfold this big thing, and guess what two colors it was? It was brown and green. Why? Because they were trying to evoke confidence, and they were trying to promote a healthy environment. And it became obvious. I wish they had just written a check for $14,000 to me, and I could have told them that. But the fact is that what you want to do with your color is you want to evoke a certain emotion, and you're with the intention of being able to solve that problem. Okay? So you're focusing your attention on what's the problem. We saw it right here. What's the problem? And I added my problem down here. This is my problem. My problem that I'm trying to solve is confusion and complexity of technology paralyzes a small business owner. The emotion that I was after falls in this range right here, trust and peaceful. A confused mind can be put at peace when there's a simple system to follow. So I open up the colors.co website and I start to play with color. All right. Are y'all familiar with that? Are you familiar with this colors website? We've talked about this a lot. I've done several webinars on using colors. We're going to play with it for just a little bit today. All right. So in order to do that, I have to bounce out of here. But this is the color that I arrived at of me being my dominant color, which is a combination of these two colors right here. Okay, and so if these two colors evoke those two emotions, then this is the color that I picked for my primary color, my dominant color. Everybody follow that? Because I want a certain emotion, and that emotion was to take that confused mind and put it at peace. Take that complexity and make it simple. And because that was the emotion that I wanted to evoke, this became my dominant color. The other thing is I like the color. And oftentimes you'll find that you like the colors that accomplish the purpose that you're looking for. Now think back over here. Let's flip this on its head for just a moment. All right. If the confused mind is my target, do I want to evoke excitement and boldness? Would that make any sense? Would it make any sense to have optimism when the starting point is confusion? You don't jump from one to the other. You have to take a process to get there. As Don says, a slow and steady process to get there. So I know what the emotion is I want to evoke. I make that my dominant color. You select that color based upon the emotion that you want to evoke. The next thing is you pick a shade color. Now, the cool thing about colors.co, and we'll play with this in just a minute. I'll show you a couple of things on that tool. But the cool thing about this is that I can actually run shades of this color. So this is my color right here, and I went a little darker with it. Same color. I just took it to a darker direction. That's a secondary color. And then I did the tint. So when I talk about the secondary or shade color right here, secondary call to action, subtitles, about 2 shades down on your dominant color. Can you see what I did right here? How I arrived at that shade color? Do you see this? And then the tint color, you take the same color and you go up. And I'll show you how to do that with the color palette in the colors website. Okay. But I took this color, I made it a little darker, made it a little lighter. So now I have my primary color and I have these secondary colors here. I have a third color in this, and this third color is going to be for my calls to action. And I want to be able to make sure that this third color actually goes well with each of these, stands out. It says, hey, click here. It's that call to action. It's how to take the next step. Michelle, I'm going to play with the tool in just a minute. I just want to walk you through the process that we go through to get there, okay? Now, this is what this is going to look like in reality. I don't know how well you can see this, so I've recreated this based upon these colors that I've picked over here, and I'll show you that in just a second. But we have these 5 colors right here with the supporting color, and the supporting color is going to be your background. The supporting color is the field upon which you play. Okay? Does that make sense to everybody? So I have a supporting color. I have a supporting color. That's the field. And you'll notice here, I have a field. This is the field right here that I'm going to play on. When I've got my dominant color in this area right here, my text becomes that supporting color. Okay? Now, let me show you this with the colors that I've picked in this color palette and saved this to be my brand colors. Okay? This is my dominant color. This is that supporting color. This is the call to action. You see the call to action right here? This is the call to action. This is that dominant color as a headline. This is the secondary color. This is the tint color that I used for my secondary headlines. Everybody following me? And then this is that shade color. This is the darker color that I used for a secondary call to action. Now, do those colors all work well together there? And so this is just a map of what we're talking about. This is the dominant color. This becomes my field in these areas here. Don, somebody always mentions that. They always do. And colors are not gender specific. All right. This gets really into the deep weeds about the psychology of color. But every time I have somebody who takes a gender test, I've actually even tested it. I've gathered 100 people, 100 women and 100 men. And it's interesting what you'll come out with on it's different than you think it is. Colors are not as gender specific as you think they are. They're more background specific. But does this map make sense to you? All right, then give me a minute and I will change my screen and I'll take you through to answer Michelle's earlier question about how did you go up and down and how did you arrive at this? And then I'll show you where you find a couple of tools, okay? So give me just a second. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen and I'm gonna go to the next step in the process. All right. All right, do you see my graphics website? Are you seeing that? You see the website called Graphic Psychology, Emotion, and Meaning Poster? Okay. All right, this is the website right here. Coolors, COOLORS.co. That's the website, okay? Now, Michelle, this is the color that I arrived at. This is my color hex number. And by the way, there's lots of ways that colors are communicated. For this particular course at this particular level, we're just going to talk about the hex code numbers, okay? But this is the palette, and there's all kinds of cool things you can do with this. Now, if you don't know where to start, pick a picture that you really like, okay? Just grab a picture and drop that picture in here. Did you see what I did there? Just grab a picture and drop a picture in there. Some of you have seen the webinar that I did with the picture with my grandson Tyson and I standing on a bridge. And I've got on a green shirt. He has on a green shirt. I have on a black cowboy hat. And we're looking over out of a window on a covered bridge here in Alabama. And there were some colors that I liked in that. And we took that picture, dropped that picture in here by just using this little tool right here, drop the picture in here, and it will select the colors from that picture. So if you don't know where to start, just grab a picture that you really like and start with it, okay? Now, I've arrived at this number right here to represent the color that I wanted, okay? So it's a primarily this is a blue color, but it has a slight green tint to it. And you see that as you go up and down here. So Michelle's question earlier was, how do you do that? I can adjust it right here, but all I did was I picked the alternative shades. Do you see that? Okay, somebody's got a question here. I don't see where you click to select a picture. Right here, universal icon for a picture is a camera. So I'm in here. I can adjust the hue of it. I can mess with it here. But all I did was I just went up and down. So watch right here. See if you can find that color right here. Okay. And I find that's it right there. So I just went down. I made the color a little darker. Okay. And then this one over here, I just went up. Let me open this up again, and so you can see the color numbers as I roll over the top of it. And I went up a couple of shades, went down a couple of shades, and I found it. So I put both of those here. All right. Now, ideally, what you want to do. Let me unlock these. You can lock those colors down in place. And I want to drag this over here. How's that orange going to look if it's laying on top of this? So I can move this over here and find out. How's that orange going to look if I've got it on top of this, or on top of this, or even in that rare occasion when I have it over here, okay? So I can move that around, make sure that that's going to fit with what I want to do. And I wanted this to be orange and not a red color, because I didn't think the red looked as good, didn't have the same contrast that I was looking for. And so I picked this color here. Now I have 5 colors, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Everybody with me on this? So I began with the dominant color. What's the emotion that I want to evoke? You can do both, Ray. You literally can do both. Now I want to show you how to do something here, and then I'll show you. I can save this color palette. I gave it a name. And then you notice up here, I've saved this color palette. Y'all see that? Now, the reason why that becomes so important is I have, and there's a fee for it. I think it's $1.95, but there's a little extension that you can use, and that little extension will literally save those colors so that I can drop those color numbers anywhere I want to. So I can copy this and I can use it someplace else. Does that make sense? That's a good question, Michelle. There's certain colors that you should always make your calls to action. Red, green, those kinds of colors. And so I just opened up this and I went through this and I went, nah, that red's not going to look right at all. I don't like that red. And then I've got some variations of that. And so I picked an orange. And this was the color orange that I had picked originally. And I didn't like it. Copy this, put it right there. Oh, came out with the word copy on it. Let me clean that up. I don't necessarily like that color as much. I put it over here. It works, but it wasn't the color that I was looking for. Yes, that's a Chrome extension. And it is you do pay for the Chrome extension. I can't even tell you how you do that, but it's on the program right here. If you go to colors.com, .co, it will give you, we'll tell you how to do that. Go to your account, find that out. So, okay. Dave, why do you keep posting links on my webinar? So anyhow, this is how I arrived at this color. This was the color that I wanted. And I picked that. Now I have this saved, okay? And to get to that, you just go back and forth here. And now I can go into any other program and I have all my color numbers right here. So I've saved that. So it becomes a really nice, and it has a color picker. Okay. I can do this. I can grab this color picker. I can come over here and pick the color from this. And see, it stores that color up here for me. Yeah, unless I ask for a link, please don't be posting links because I don't know where they're going. I don't have time to focus on that. And this is our webinar and our audience, and so I prefer you not do that. All right, but it has a color picker. You can use the color picker. Has the ability to be able to drop an image in here and do that. Now, let's just take this image right here, this color, and I can lock it down, all right? You see it's locked, and then I hit the space bar, and it's gonna run through a variety of colors. And see, this is oftentimes used as a color for a call to action. And then I can do this, come up with alternative shades of this. I don't like any of them. But I'm just hitting the space bar and it's giving me colors that I can use as complementary colors. Make sense? So in answer to earlier question offered by Ray, does it pick colors for you? Yes, I lock in one color and then I can scroll through this suggestions here based upon what the program does for me. All right. All right, any other questions about this platform and how to use this? All right, let me grab one more thing and drop on my palette here, or my my work area. Hang on just a second. So I want to show you one more thing. All right, now can you see the screen that I used earlier? About to answer that question, Dennis. So you see the screen. This is my screen right here. Okay. I have taken those colors and I've dropped them in here so that I can illustrate that for you. So question is, how do I copy those colors? I have the extension. Now keep in mind that when you have the extension, you can do this. And again, like I say, I think it might be $2. It might be as much as $5. I don't know what it is. Whatever it is, I promise you it was worth every penny of it. So this is this this is the Convertry platform. I've shown you a couple of things we've done on it before. So this is my background color right here. All right. And this is the RGB color. But I have this open. All right. I come up here. I open up this color palette. And this is my primary right here. So I can copy that code. I can drop that code right there. And now I have it right here. Does that make sense? Because of the way this program's set up, I have my extension. This is always confusing for people. I'm not sure why, but this is my primary color. This is my dominant color, right? This is my dominant color. This is the color I want to make in these fields right here. So this is my dominant color. I'm going to use it on a white background. It's going to be my field. So I now have my color palette right here. This is the color palette that I'm going to save. So now I have my color palette for this shade color right here. I select that box. I'm going to show you where to put the shade color. And I'm going to change that color right here based upon this shade color right here. Okay. Just copy that, drop that there, and select that, and it's that shade color. All right. Y'all following with me? Now, I'm going to use this as my primary headline. So in this program, and only in this program, I can set my text styles. I come over here, I open this up, and that's going to be this color right here, because that is the color that I have for my dominant color. My secondary color is going to be this darker color right here. Right? That's what we did earlier, Dennis, is I picked the dominant color. I picked the dominant color based upon the emotion that I wanted to evoke. We had all determined that the emotion that I wanted to evoke was that slightly turquoise kind of a color that I had. And then I went a few shades down, darker, and that became the secondary color. And then I went a few shades up, and that became this color that I'm going to use for this secondary headline right here. And that's it right there. All right. So now, anytime that I take a text, let me get down here to the area that doesn't have text in it. Put a text right up here. Anytime I take a text and I drop it in here, and I click over here and I say headline 1. There it is. All right. And see, it's in that color. Now, if I have add a secondary color or secondary headline, I'm going to pick the H2. You see what we have? Does that make sense? So now I've got my colors built in where I want them to go, right? Everybody follow with me? All right, any questions now so far? We've got 2 minutes left. You should have this document. So I took my colors, put them on my worksheet right here. This is my brand colors worksheet that I gave you all the link to when we started. And here they are: dominant color, base color, accent color, shade color, and tint color. And because I copied and highlighted them from here, they came with the color around the outside of the font, okay? Or outside the font or the color number. That makes sense? Y'all have this document, the brand colors worksheet? All right, thank you all for joining me. Appreciate you coming in today. We'll be back here next Friday. Pick up with the back end of the remainder of this about picking your colors and applying that to your logo, okay?